two lines of each verse are sung like this. Tilaka vinindita shashadara rupaka bhuvana mano haravesha.
Then that part is repeated.
Then I repeat alone.
Not you, not you.
Then all of us begin at the tilaka. Tilaka vinindita, like that. And then you sing the whole two lines through. That's the way the last two lines are done on each verse. That's for the future. Okay. Now we're up to Krishna and Radha. Who's doing Krishna? Who's doing Radha? Prabhuji?
Anupama Madhuri Chori.
$364.
No, I love this song.
वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, वरसने वाली की जय, जय जय श्री राधे। वृंदावन धाम की जय।
So we're very honored and very fortunate today that Sripad Bhaktivedanta Bhagat Maharaj has come here all the way from Florida to join us for the programs. So I very humbly request Maharaj to say a few words.
Om Jnanatamidandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militan Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Shtavitam Yena Bhutale Swayamrupam Karmaya Viranti Swava. First of all, I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Diksha and Shiksha Guru Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Tathata Sisi Mansura A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Hi.
Then I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my Shiksha and Sannyas Guru Nityalila Vishnupada Tathata Sisi Mad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami.
Jai.
I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of my two Shiksha Gurus, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Saraswata Sisi Mat Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Vigyam Bharti Goswami.
Jai.
I offer my humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And I offer my humble obeisances unto the feet of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis who are present here today, headed by Sripad Prem Prayojan Prabhu. My Dandavat pranams to one and all. Hare I want to say, first of all, that the honor is all mine, actually, to be here in this August assembly of devotees here in North Carolina who have gathered to hear the sweet Harikatha of my dear friend, Prem Prayojan Prabhu, whom I have known for many, many years, all the way back to the time of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. So I came to hear from him also, because his Harikatha is so sweet. But he is very kind. He has asked me to say a few words. So I wanted to talk a little bit about understanding the soul as it pertains to Bhagavad Gita and the teachings of the six Goswamis. So when Arjuna finally surrenders to Krishna at the beginning of the Gita, in the second chapter, Krishna starts giving a dissertation on Sankhya, on the soul, the difference between matter and spirit and the controller of both. He describes this in the 39th verse of the second chapter. He says, up to now, I've explained Sankhya. Now I'm going to explain Buddha Yoga, by which you can offer the fruit of your work. Of course, how can anyone offer the fruit of their work if they don't understand they're not the body? So the first thing he has to do is teach you you're not this body. Then once you realize that you're not the body, then you can understand that the work that comes from the body doesn't belong to you either. That it's all coming from Krishna. So first thing is, understand you're not the body. So, he begins by divvying up, making it clear that we're all individual souls. Natu evaham jatu nasam natvam nemi janadipa. There's you, there's the kings, there's me, we're all individuals, we're eternal. Then he starts explaining how the soul lasts. Dehinos min yata dehe komadam jovanam jara tata dehantara praptir. After the body is done, while the body is changing from childhood to youth to old age to death, and then after the death, the body, again, the soul gets another body. And so like this, he starts to describe, and then he gives some other detailed information about how the soul is never withered by wind, cut by any weapon, burned by fire, etc., etc. He gives all these, wet by water, and so on and so forth. He gives all these descriptions about the quality of the soul and its nature as being different from matter. Okay? But that's only a beginning. First of all, this dissertation of the verses from 13 to 22, I think it is far superior to any other information you get in any other scripture about the soul. It's already far beyond and exceeds anything that's given. But Mahaprabhu wanted people to have a deeper, more personal concept of the soul than what he gave Arjuna in the Gita. And so he instructed the Goswamis to glean all the information from all the scriptures and to get that information. And so when Rupa Goswami wrote the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion as Prabhupada gave it in a summary fashion, he describes the 64 qualities of Krishna. And he makes the point, and Krishna says in the Gita, Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhutasana, you're my eternal parts and parcels. So if we're eternal parts and parcels of Krishna, if we come from Krishna, then we must have his qualities. So what are those qualities, and to what extent? So now this picks up where Krishna leaves off in the Gita. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu picks up, and it starts to give a description of the qualities that are there in the jiva, that are in Krishna, but are present. The first 50 of the 64 qualities are all present in the jiva soul. And so then it describes these qualities, that one has beautiful features of his entire body, that he's marked with all auspicious characteristics. He's extremely pleasing, effulgent, strong, youthful, a wonderful linguist, truthful, talks pleasingly, speaks fluently in all languages, highly learned, highly intelligent, a genius, artistic, extremely clever, expert, grateful, firmly determined, an expert judge of time and circumstances, sees and speaks on the authority of the Vedas, and on and on and on. Grave, self-controlled, steadfast, forgiving, magnanimous, religious, heroic, respectful, gentle, liberated, shy, like this, all liberal, shy, all auspicious, so many good qualities, all worshipable, all opulent. So here, Rupa Goswami says, because Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana, the living entities are all parts and parcels of Krishna. These 50 qualities are present in the jiva, but minutely. Just as we are a minute portion of Krishna, similarly the qualities are in minute portions. We don't have them to the fullest extent. Krishna has all those qualities to the fullest extent, unlimitedly. In fact, in the prayers to the prayers to the personified Vedas in the Bhagavatam, it says that Krishna's powers are eternally expanding and extending. And each time those powers and qualities of Krishna expand and extend, then Krishna has to expand his consciousness to understand the expansion of his qualities. So it's said by the prayers of personified Vedas that for an instant in time, Krishna doesn't even know himself. This is the power of Krishna's unlimited expansions, okay? So we as jivas have a minute portion. Now the next 5 qualities, okay, which goes to 55, are present in Lord Shiva and in Lord Brahma. And those qualities are also present in the pure devotees. So we're going to see the qualities that are there, okay? First of all, changeless, then all cognizant, then ever fresh, then Satchidananda, possessing an eternal blissful body, and 55 is possessing all mystic perfections. So I can tell you from my own experience with Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev that these qualities were very, very present in their transcendental forms. And so in the bodies of the pure devotees, these qualities are also present. Now the next 5 qualities, from 55 to 60, are only present in the Lord Narayan. And we will see why. Because it says here that from 56 to 60, he has an inconceivable potency. He's got uncountable universes generating from his body. He is the original source of all incarnations. He is the giver of salvation to the enemies whom he kills, and he is the attractor of the liberated souls. So we see how when Krishna, when he's in the role, in the mood of Dwarkadish, how he liberated Shishupal, how he liberated many other demons, how Shishupal enters into his body, okay? And actually, we understand from Jiva Goswami and from other acharyas how when Mathuresh manifests before Vasudeva and Devaki, and then he's carried to Vrindavan and enters into the form of Shyamasundar. Why? Because Shyamasundar is not a killer, he's only a lover. So who's killing all the demons in Vrindavan? It's actually Mathuresh and Dwarkadish within the form of Shyamasundar. They're performing that pastime, that Leela. And Krishna recedes into the background in that time, in that area. Okay? So now we see that there's these wonderful qualities of Lord Narayan, but now there's 4 more qualities. And these qualities are known as the Maduris. Srila Gurudev used to tell. These are the 4 Maduris, the 4 sweetnesses that are exclusively present in the two-armed form of Sri Krishna. This is a very important thing which stems from the Gita also. We'll see in the 10th chapter, which is part of the actual Gita, the 6 chapters of the Gita which are talking about bhakti, are the 7 through 12. And so in the 10th, 11th, and 12th chapter, there is some very powerful verses which explain, Gurudev calls them the jewels in the jewel box, that the first 6 and the last 6 are, the first 6 are the bottom of the jewel box, and the last 6 are the top of the jewel box, and the middle 6 chapters are the jewels in the jewel box. So these 6 chapters give us an insight into the transcendental qualities of Krishna, and we see how in the 10th chapter he delineates all of these qualities that he manifests within the material nature. And so then he says, actually, these qualities are there in only a minute portion of myself. I'm maintaining this entire universe with only a fragment of myself, Krishna said. So then in the 11th chapter, Arjuna asks him to display a form which manifests all those qualities, which he does. This is the universal form. Then when Arjuna becomes shaken by the vision of the universal form, he asks, can you please show me your four-arm form and then your two-arm form? And so then Krishna shows the four-arm form and the two-arm form. This whole exercise is taking place in order to emphasize that the two-arm form is the source of the four-arm form and the universal form. And so then when he sees that two-arm form, Arjuna says in the 12th chapter, in the 11th chapter, now seeing this form, this original form, the two-arm form, I'm in my original state of consciousness. So here we get the indication, and then Krishna tells Arjuna, he says, Naham Vedena tapasana danena nachejaya. The seeing this form is very, very difficult. You can't see it by studying the Vedas. You can't see it by doing any kind of tapasya, chejaya, any ritualistic worship, or dan, giving any donations. It's not possible. Sakyamevam vidodrashtam drashtavam asimamyata. How will you see it? Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya, by ananya bhakti. By performing undivided devotional service. Gnatvam drashtam chatatvena. Then you know, gnatvam drashtam, see, chatatvena, the truths of my transcendental nature. And enter into praveshtam chaparanta, enter into the deepest mysteries of my understanding. How? By ananya bhakti, not by any other process. So now he emphasizes that in the 11th chapter. So all of this is being given here in the Gita, and the follow-up is to give the details of what it is in that two-arm form that is so extraordinary beyond the four-arm form of Narayan that establishes Arjuna in his original state of consciousness. And so those four are the four Maduris that he performs wonderful varieties of pastimes, especially the childhood pastimes, according to here, Srila Prabhupada. He can attract all living entities all over the universes by playing his flute. He is surrounded by devotees endowed with wonderful love, prema madhuri, and he has wonderful excellence of beauty which cannot be rivaled anywhere. This is Rupa Madhuri. So Rupa Madhuri is his beauty, Leela Madhuri, the pastimes, Prema Madhuri, the love, and Venu Madhuri, the flute. These four things are not even there in Narayan. They are only exclusively there in the form of Sri Krishna, Shama Sundar, in Braj, Brajendranandan Sham. So, by understanding how the Gita is a foundational scripture, it's a beginning. It gives you insight into the soul, and it gives you insight into the form of the Jiva and of Krishna. But the details, they're coming from the Goswamis. This is why we go to the Goswamis' literature, because there we get infinite details about the qualities of the soul, the qualities of Krishna, the qualities of the pastimes, the details of what Rasa Tattva is about are all being given there and by the Goswamis. And then we can start to understand on that level what is the interplay between the soul and Krishna, the soul and Radha, the soul and the inhabitants of Braj. And all of this comes by hearing the sweet Hari Katha from the sadhus. So, I wanted to talk about Gita today. Prabhuji asked me if I would say a little something about these four qualities. I wove the two of them together. And he's going to now expand on the discussion of the qualities of Sri Krishna. He has the intention tonight of giving you some very deep details about the qualities of Krishna and the Rasa Katha and the nature of Rasa and how Rasa builds and develops. So now we will give our attention. Why, you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You came up and you
I
sat there, I
said,
said, you have a question for me. But does anybody have a question? Do you wanna ask a question? You don't have a question, okay. What's the question?
You had mentioned the two-arm form. These four qualities are only in Brajendered under Sham Sundar, not Maturesh or Dwarkadish.
No. Maturish and Dwarkadish do not play the flute. And they don't have wonderful childhood pastimes, and they don't have, all these things are only present really in Brajendered and Sham. Even those forms are not the same, not on the same level. That's a whole other.
A question here?
Yes.
I was thinking that maybe some of the new people would be wondering how it is that when Krishna kills the demons, he doesn't do it as Shamashundar, but he does it as Dwarkadish or
Yeah.
Maturesh.
Yeah.
But he seems like he's the same person when he does it. I mean, you don't see the switch. So how does this work?
You don't see the switch. I asked this question actually of Gurudev because Gurudev said in the is it the Nectar of Govinda Leela? I think it's in the Nectar of Govinda Leela. He makes the statement that when Krishna says Sarva Dharma Prityaja, he's telling Arjuna to surrender to Shamasundar of Vrindavan. So one Gaudiya sannyasi from another Gaudiya mutt questioned me, isn't it Dwarkadish who's giving the kata on the battlefield? How is it possible that he's surrendering to Shamasundar? Who is the Krishna that's sitting there in the chariot speaking? So I asked Gurudev this question. I'm sorry that we're going on with this. So Gurudev explained. He said, in Goloka, in the spiritual world, Shamasundar is in Braj, Mathura is in Mathura, Dwarkadish is in Dwarka. He said, but here they come together. And so he said, just like Mathurish and Mathurish is there in the body of Sham in Vrindavan, he's killing the demons. And then he gave the example of how when when Rukmini asked questions Rohini, Rukmini questions Rohini, she says, in the middle of the night, when Krishna is sleeping, he's yelling out, Yasoda Ma and Radhe Radhe. Who are these people? I thought the Devaki is his mother, and Nanda and Vasudeva is his father. Who's Nanda Baba and who's Yasoda Ma? And who is Radhe? Who is he calling out for? So who's calling that out? Is Dwarkadish calling for Radharani? Is Dwarkadish calling? No. This is Shamasundar who is there. So he says they're all present somehow simultaneously in all three places. That happens once Vasudeva, according to Jiva Goswami, it happens that there's some kind of mystic channel in which Krishna, after he takes birth from Yasoda, he goes in a mystic channel and he enters into Mathura, and he's there in Mathura as a baby instead of the forearm form of Mathurish. And others say, no, it's when Vasudeva brings Mathurish to Vrindavan and lays him on the bed, and he enters into the body of Krishna, who was born in Vrindavan. And we know that Krishna was born in Vrindavan because the gopis say it in the Gopi Gita. They say that Krishna is Braja Janama, that he took birth in Braj. So we know that he took birth in Braj because the gopis are the highest authorities. So we follow the authority always of the gopis. They're the greatest gurus. So like this, they're together. They're one unit on this plane. And they manifest themselves in different ways. And there's so many leelas which show that. So he said, so when that was being spoken on the battlefield, and he said, surrender unto me, he meant unto me Shama Sundar, Brajendranandan Sham. And actually, Prabhupada confirms this. Because somebody asked Prabhupada that people are criticizing that you call the deities in Delhi Radha,
Parthasarathi.
Parthasarathi. And they're saying, where is Radha on the chariot with Krishna? And Prabhupada said, when is Radha not with Krishna? Radha is always with Krishna. There is no Krishna without Radha. So this was his response. So they're one in Siddhanta. Always know that, those two are one in Siddhanta. Does that help clarify things?
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
नामशिष्टमनमपि शुचिपुत्रम् अत्र स्वरूपम् रूपं तस्याकर्जामुरिपुरीं माथुरीं गोष्ठवाति राधाकुन्दमगिरिवरम् राधिकामाधवसम् प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतिकृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय दारिणे कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः आनन्दलीलभाय विग्रहाय हेमपतिभिश्चाविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसम्प्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते भक्त्याभिहीना अपराधलक्षे मम कृपनिधे स्वप्रियचरण किं कुरु तवैवस्मि नाजिवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय देवी तं नमां चरणान्तिकम्
First of all, I offer my Sastang Dandavat Puspanjali, my heart like flowers, thousands of times, at the lotus feet of my holy master, my supremely worshipable spiritual Gurudev, Asmadya Paramarada Tama Guru Pada Padma, Nittilila Parvishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarasata Sri, Rupanuga Charivarya, Sila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami. Secondly, I offer my pranam thousands of times at the lotus feet of my Param Gurudev to Srila Prabhupada and all of our Sri Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Parampara. And finally, I offer my pranam to Param Pujapad Sri Bhaktivedanta Bhagavat Maharaj and all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis.
Gurudev ki jai.
By the causeless mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we have been hearing about the divine qualities of Brajendra Nandan Shyamasundar, Sri Krishna of Vrindavan. When Brahmaji came to Vrindavan and put his 4 noses where they did not belong. Though he himself, he is full of knowledge of opulence, but he interfered in the sweetness of Sri Krishna's pastimes. So Sri Krishna manifested to Brahmaji some small portion of his vast opulences. It was so vast and so astonishing to Brahmaji that seeing it he could not even think. He just said, "Kim idam, what is this?" And he became unconscious. He was overwhelmed. But then when he opened his eyes, he saw a very small boy, only 5 years old, searching for his friends. "Oh, Subal, so Sridham, where are you?" And he saw the sweetness of Vrindavan. So at that time, Brahmaji prayed. He offered prayers to Sri Krishna. And he said, "Gudatnamastepi gunan vimatum hitavatarasya ka isherasya." Oh, Sri Krishna, you are Gunatmana. You are the soul of all virtues. And you have descended, hitavatarasya, you have descended into this world to benefit everyone. And your qualities are such that even if a great scientist or learned person would be able to count every particle of dust on planet Earth. No. If someone were able to count every crystal of snowflake, that's really hard to do, because by the time you count this many, then others have appeared and others have melted. So it's difficult to keep up. If someone could count all the snowflakes in the world, no. Jubashaha. He said, even if someone could count all the photons, the particles of light emanating from the sun for the duration of the universe, then still, oh Krishna, they would not be able to count your Divyagun Sagar, the ocean of your divine qualities. So when it is said that Sri Krishna has 64 qualities, because this is a summary of some of the main ones. The actual number is the infinity to the power of infinity. So Srila Sanatana Goswami, he was saying, what is the profound meaning of these words of Brahmaji? First he's saying, Brahmaji is looking at this little boy walking with bare feet in the dust, with a peacock feather in his hair, decorated with earrings made not of jewels and silver and gold, but of gunji berries, berries from the forest. And say, no one can count your endless qualities. Gunatma Sastevi. You are Gunatmaka means that you are the soul of all qualities. Why? Because qualities can only be realized when they're manifested in a person. You can give a list of qualities: humility, tolerance, compassion, intelligence, gentleness, and politeness. You can give a list of qualities, but it doesn't mean anything until you see the person, that is Sri Krishna himself, in his Leela, manifesting those divine qualities. So he's Gunatmana. He is the Atma of all virtues. Hitavatarasya. And he is descending for the benefit of everyone. Why? Because when we hear about the beautiful qualities of Sri Krishna, Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavantirit karna rasayana kada, we hear the beautiful description of Krishna's qualities, then our hearts become cleansed of all ignorance, of all anarthas, and love awakens. And those very qualities which are present in Krishna, then they become infused into the devotee. So, Sri Krishna is the very, very merciful. Here, Hitavatarasa, he descends to this world and manifests his qualities for the benefit of others also has a very profound meaning. Perhaps you have wondered from time to time that when we go to visit temples in Vrindavan or other places, there are many deities: Radha Shamasundar, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Damodar, Radha Madhav, Radha Govinda, Gopinath, Madan Mohan. And so we have heard that these are the Ishtadevs of different Vaishnavas. Rupa Goswamira Prandana He, Rupa Goswamira Prandana He, Jaya Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe. Sanatan Goswamira Prandana He, Sanatan Goswamira Prandana He, Jaya Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jiva Goswamira Pranadana He,
Jiva Goswami Pranadana He,
Jaya
Radha Damodara Radhe.
So actually, they're all Krishna. But a person can think, why are there so many deities? Radha Damodar, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda. And the reason is this, that see Krishna, he gives mercy to each devotee by manifesting a particular special quality to that devotee. And because of that quality, then that devotee remembers the name of Krishna connected with that quality. Now, because see Krishna descends to this world and he attracts each and every soul by one of his unique qualities, because there, you know how many souls there are? Unlimited. And that is why, see, Krishna has unlimited qualities, one quality to deliver each individual soul within all the universes. So, itavatarasya ka isharasya. So Brahmaji said, even if a very intelligent person, we just digest that one for a minute. Keshav Goswami Prandana He,
Keshav Goswami Pranadana He,
Jaya Radha Vinod Bihari,
Radha Vinod Bihari Radhe.
So, now, Brahmaji said, even if a person with vast intelligence could count all the particles of dust and all the flakes of snow and all the photons of light coming from the sun, then they still could not count Sri Krishna's qualities. So, actually, there are qualified persons who can count all the particles of dust and snowflakes and the photons from the sun. Who is that? Sankarshan. Sri Krishna's expansion, Sankarshan, or Anantadev. So Anantadev, because he's the universes are coming from, they're coming from Sankarshan and they're maintained by the power of Anantadev, supported by the power of Anantadev. He can count all the dust and all the snowflakes and all the photons of the sun. He can do it. But still that Anantadev, since time with no beginning, with unlimited mouths, has not been able to sing a kirtan describing all the qualities of Sri Krishna. So, that very Sri Krishna is Akhila Brahmanda Nayaka. That means he's the hero of unlimited universes. The great poets in ancient times, such as Bharat Muni, they have described that heroes are of different types. So the four classical divisions of hero are called Dhirudata, Dhirushanta, Dhirlalit, and Dhirudharta. So, for example, the first type, Dhirudata, this hero is inscrutable. Gambhir, that means if you see him, he has certain expression. But what he's thinking inside is something completely different. You cannot tell what is going on internally by looking outwardly. Gambhir. He's also very strong. He has such a charisma that only entering in a room, all other persons, the pride becomes diminished by his presence. He's also very tolerant. And he's very, very merciful. He gives protection to those who are suffering. And also, he's true to his vows. So, who is the classical example of such a hero? Ramachandra, yes. Lord Ram. Because if Lord Ram makes a vow, he will stick to it, no matter how difficult it is. He diminishes the pride of everyone, like a Ravan and Meghnad and all the associates of Ravan. So Lord Ramachandra is the classical example of this type of hero. But see, Krishna himself is the superior in every respect. The example is given that when Indra came to beg forgiveness from Sri Krishna, because he tried to destroy all of Brajmandal with heavy rain and thunderbolts. So now he approached Sri Krishna and fell at his feet. And he was weeping from his 1,000 eyes. And he offered prayers to Sri Krishna. And Krishna forgave him. So at that time, Indra said, "Oh my Lord, you are so powerful. No Devata or anyone can compete with you in any way." So that shows his power, his strength. "And you are so kind that even I made a great offense, but you have forgiven me." So it shows his compassion, his kindness, and also his tolerance, that he tolerated the offenses that were committed by Indra. He said, "You are always true to your vows, steadfast in your word." Why? Because when Indra sent the rain and everything was being flooded, all Brajbasis were freezing from the cold and shivering. Krishna said, Tasman mat charnam gostam, man natam mat parigraham, gopaye swatma yogena, soyam te brata ahita. These Brajabasis, they are completely surrendered to me. They consider me to be their family member. I am their Nath. So therefore, I must protect them by my Yogamaya Shakti. Soyam te bratahata. This is my vow to protect my devotees. So Krishna was steadfast in his vow, and for 7 days and nights, he was lifting Giriraj Govardhan, and he protected them all. So here you can see all the qualities of the Dhirudata Nayak. And he's inscrutable. Why? If you see any old paintings of Krishna lifting Govardhan hill, you always see there are some coward boys and coward men with their sticks. And they're helping Krishna hold up the hill. Why? Because Krishna was looking around and then he saw Radhika. And when Krishna saw the beauty of the breast of Radhika, his hand began to tremble. So then all the Brajbasis, because he can hide his mood, they could not understand why he was trembling, because he's Gambhir. So they thought, oh, maybe it's too heavy for him. So then they all started to help him with their sticks. So see Krishna, he's Gambhir, he's kind, he's tolerant, he reduces the pride of others, he's firm in his vows. So Krishna is the perfect example of the Dhirudata. He's also, this is Dhirudata in relation to the prayer of Indra. But he's also Dhirudata in his Leelas of Madhurya Rasa. Once, Sri Krishna, he set out from Nandagam, and he was on his way for to a Sanket Kunj, to a appointed meeting place with Shrimati Radhika. But as he was going along the way, Chandravali, Padma, Shaibra, Bhadra, Pali, Taraka, and so many other gopis from opposing groups and neutral groups who are not dedicated to Shrimati Radhika, all these gopis were approaching him and trying to distract him and take him, divert him to a different kunj, a different adventure for that evening. So in the distance, Lalita Sakhi was with Chitra Sakhi, and they were watching. So as Krishna was walking, one gopi was approaching him, and Chitra was thinking, oh, he's going to get diverted. But see, Krishna, he spoke very politely as each gopi approached him. He said, for sure, I will definitely dance with you in the rasa this evening. But just now, some of my cows have wandered astray, and I have to go and try to find them. I'll be back. I'll be back quite soon. You just wait. And Krishna continued on his way. In this way, to each one, he spoke very politely and reassured them. But his heart was completely fixed on Shrimati Radhika. And he was slowly making his way to her kunj. So really, this is the example of Derodata. Why? Because he had promised Radhika that he will meet with her. So he's firm in his vow, in his vrata. On the other hand, he knows that if he will just reject the other gopis who are approaching him, then they'll be heartbroken. So he has compassion. He has kindness towards them. And he's very, very polite. And out of compassion, he speaks very gentle and sweet words. But he's Gambhir, he's inscrutable. Because what he's saying, actually to them, he's just hiding what he really thinks and what he's really doing and where he's really going. So in this way, and also, he's reducing the pride of all the husbands of Braja Gopis also. Especially Abhimanyu. So, in this way, see, Krishna is a Derodata. Then, next hero has been described by Bharat Muni originally, and that is called the Derashanta. Derashanta is very peaceful, equipoised amidst the turmoil of life. And if he has to undergo suffering, he can tolerate that suffering without complaining. He has great vivek, discrimination, very judicious. So, who is the classical example of the Derashant? Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj. He's cheated again and again, but he doesn't criticize. He doesn't even call Duryodhan, he calls him Suryodhan. He tries to see the good in everyone, even those who go against him. He said that Yudhishthira Maharaj is a Jata Shatru, that person whose enemy was never born. They may become his enemy, but he never has enmity towards anyone. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is the example of Derashant. But Krishna, in his Leela, he manifests the Derashanta to a greater degree. We see that after the battle of Kurukshetra, then Yudhishthira Maharaj was in a great depression because thousands of warriors had died, thousands of children had become without a father, and thousands of ladies had become widows. Well, why? Just to enthrone him as the emperor. He was feeling a great guilt and sadness for all of the tragedy of that great war. So at that time, Narad Muni, Vyasadeva, and even Krishna himself tried to pacify Yudhishthira Maharaj. But Yudhishthira Maharaj could not be pacified because Krishna wanted to manifest the pastime of giving the glory to Bhishmadev. And he would take Yudhishthira Maharaj to Bhishmadev, and Bhishmadev would instruct him, and that would take away all of his sorrow and bring him out beyond the dualities of the happiness and distress of material existence. So Srila Rupa Goswami describes how when Krishna was instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj, Now he's become the Dheerashanta to the Dheerashanta, the classical example of Dheerashanta. He's Dheerashanta to him. And Krishna was instructing Yudhishthira Maharaj in Dharma. And at that time, he spoke very profound philosophical points with great the discrimination. And also, Sri Krishna's eyes were steady. Because one who has wisdom, one whose heart, whose chitta is nirvikar, not distracted by the gunas, rajagun of this world, then they have very steady eyes. That's why it says that Radhika's eyes are like Kanjan Pakshi, like wagtail birds looking here and there. Or like fish, fish change direction suddenly, like this. And Krishna's eyes also, Kataksh looking from side to side, here and there. Because if the heart is feeling many waves of Sanchari Bhavs, many waves of transitory emotions in the ocean of prem, then it's expressed in the restless eyes. So one who is Dheerashant, the eyes are very steady. So in this way, see Krishna, when he was very peacefully speaking to Yudhishthira Maharaj and trying to pacify him, Krishna is the best example of Dheerashant. But in Vrindavan Leela, he's also Dheerashant. When? After beautiful pastimes, Madhyan Leela at Radhakund, finally Radha Krishna have to separate. Krishna will have to go back to take care of the cows, and Radhika will have to go back to Yavat. But on the way, she should quickly do a puja to the sun god, because that was her pretext for leaving the house in the first place. So before going to Radhakund, Shrimati Radhika came there, put all the puja paraphernalia there, and then left for Radhakund. Now she's coming back to pick it up. And when she arrived there, Jyotila was just arrived. Hey, what are you doing still here? Why haven't you done the puja of Suryadev? Then Kundalata explains to Jyotila, we were looking for a Brahmin to conduct the puja. We couldn't find a Brahmin. But now we found one here. We found two. One of them was Madhu Mangal, and the other Brahmin had a sham complexion. Carrying the Shastra underneath his arm, wearing wooden shoes with a very beautiful white shining Brahmin thread, and with a belt of kush grass. And when Jyotila saw him, that Brahmin, how peaceful, how serene he looked. But who was it? It was Krishna himself. So though Krishna's nature is that he's always restless, out of his desperation to see Radharani, this was his only chance to see her. So out of his desperation, his restlessness was suppressed, and he had to manifest a Brahminical disposition, at least for a few moments, to get another glimpse of Shrimati Radhika. And so he could be close to her and guide her in the puja. Om Mitra Swaha. And he was telling her what mantras to say as she makes offerings to the sun god. But these mantras were created by Krishna himself. They had double meanings. One meaning is, I make this offering to the sun god, and the other meaning is, I offer myself to my boyfriend. Om Mitra Swaha. So in this way, Krishna in Vrindavan also becomes Dheerashant. You should know that Krishna has three features: Purna, Purnatara, and Purnatamam. That means Krishna is, Purna means perfect and complete. So in English, that's an absolute word. But in the divine Leela of Krishna, you could have Purna, perfect, Purnatara, more perfect, and Purnatama, most perfect. Perfect, perfecter, and perfectest. So, see Krishna, these new words never spoken in this day of Lord Brahma. So, you see Krishna in Vrindavan is Purnatama. That means all the qualities are manifested to the most perfect degree. And that's whether it's Aishwarya, or whether it's sweetness, his Madhurya, or whether it's Karunya, his compassion. That is there in Krishna in Vrindavan to the fullest degree. For example, in regard to Aishwarya, when Lord Brahma, we were discussing at first why he was saying, Krishna, your quality is unlimited. When he looked at Krishna and the cowherd boys, and then suddenly he noticed that all the cowherd boys manifested dark complexion, sham color forms. with 4 arms, with the Shankar Chakra Gada Padma, with the conch shell and the club and the chakra and the lotus flower, all with the Kaustuba money and the mark of Srivats. That means they weren't associates of Vaikuntha, they were all directly Lord Narayan himself. So Lord Narayan is the Aishwarya Pati, the king, Lakshmi Pati, Vaikuntanath, the Lord of all opulence in Vaikuntha. But Krishna manifested unlimited forms of Lord Narayan right there before the eyes of Lord Brahma. So Krishna in Vrindavan has more opulence than the Lord of Vaikuntha, and more sweetness. When Parikshit Maharaj heard from Shukadev Goswami about the babyhood pastimes of Sri Krishna, then he was weeping in ecstasy, and he said to Shukadev Goswami, Nanda kim akarad brahman sreya eva mayodayam Yashoda va mahabhaga papo yasyastanam hari. Oh, what pious activities did Nanda Maharaj perform to become the father of Sri Krishna? And I cannot speak about the extent of the fortune of Mother Yashoda, that Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, becomes a helpless child in her arms, and he's suckling the milk from her breast. He was astonished. So there's nothing more helpless than a newborn child who cannot even feed themselves, taking the milk from the breast of the mother. So that vulnerability, that Naravat Lila, human-like pastimes, that is called Madhurya. Madhurya means, though opulence may be present or not, but there is no transgression of the behavior and mentality of a human being. And that is Madhurya. The nature of Aishwarya is that when a person sees Aishwarya opulence, they have heart palpitations, they begin to tremble. But the nature of Madhurya is that when one sees it, it's Manuhar. That means it steals your heart. You forget everything else and this is Madhurya, sweetness. Manuhari. It is heart stealing, enchanting. So that Madhurya is fullest where? In Krishna of Vrindavan. And mercy also. Aho baki yam stana kalikutam jigangse apayad apil sadbi labe gatim datrutitam tatonyam kamvadayalum sharanam brajema. After Krishna had left this world, then Vidura asked him, oh, do you have any news about Krishna? Uddhav went into trance and was trembling in separation from Sri Krishna. Shanaka Bhagaval Lokan Rilokam Puna Agataha. Sutta Goswami is saying, in separation he went into trance and he went to Bhagavalok, he went to Goloka Vrindavan. And then slowly, Vrijadetre Viduran, he rubbed his eyes, Pritya Uddhav Utsmayan, and smiling, he spoke to Vidura. Uddhav spoke to Vidura. Why was he smiling? Because when Vidura asked about Krishna, then Uddhav, who was in so much separation because Krishna just left this world, went into trance and went to Goloka Vrindavan. And there in Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna said to him, oh, Uddhav, Vidura is asking you a question. Go back and answer his question. So then Uddhav slowly came out of his trance and rubbed his eyes and he was smiling. And looking at Vidura and thinking, oh Vidura, Krishna is so merciful to you. And then weeping and wiping his eyes, Uddhav said, oh baki yam stana kala kutam jigangsapa. Who could be more merciful than Sri Krishna? To whom shall we surrender? Everyone has to surrender. You have to grow old, you have to have disease, you have to die. You have to work and get money for food and shelter and warmth. You always have to surrender. You cannot survive without surrendering to someone or another. But all the masters of this world are quite cruel. So why not surrender to Krishna, who is so kind that even Putana, who was a witch, who came to kill him when he was only 6 days old by poison. But Sri Krishna liberated her and sent her to Golok and gave her position like a nursemaid in the spiritual world where she's happy forever. So who could be more merciful than Krishna? So all opulence, all sweetness and all mercy is there fully in Krishna. So Krishna in Dwarka is Purna. Dwarkadish Krishna is Purna. Krishna in Mathura, Mathura's Krishna is Purnatara. And Krishna in Braja is Purnatama. Perfect est. So we are discussing how our Akhila Brahmanda Nayak, our hero of all the worlds, Gopijanna Vallabha, our Prana Vallabha, Lord of our heart, the beloved of our Swamini Shrimati Radhika, how sometimes he's Dhirodata, Dhiroshanta, now the next hero, Dhirodat. Dhirodat. Dhirodat is proud, arrogant, fickle, very boastful, vengeful, deceitful, even. So who is the classical example? Bhimsen. You know Bhimsen? If you make some offense to Bhimsen or anything, he becomes so angry and starts bragging. I'll rip your arm off and beat you with the socky. Or when Draupadi was insulted, he said, "Oh, you take bath standing on the head of Dushashan, and you can wash your hair he touched your hair. You wash your hair in his blood." Bhimsen is ferocious, so very arrogant, and after a battle, then he's bragging to everyone. You know, all the warriors get together and they have a feast and they brag about their heroic deeds. So that's what Bhimsen does. So Krishna is also like that. So what someone can say these are bad qualities, but according to the Leela, they can be very good. So Rupa Goswami gives the example of when Kal Yavan was attacking Mathura with 33 million the Yavana soldiers and barbarians. So then Krishna sent a letter. He wrote a letter to Kal Yavan. So the letter was delivered to him and the messenger read out the letter. "Oh Kal Yavan, you are a frog." Croaking, inviting the snake of death. So you can hide in your hole. But very soon, the Krishna Sarpa means black snake, and it also means the snake of Krishna, will come and devour you. I am so powerful, just by raising my eyebrows, I can destroy the whole universe. So when Krishna wrote the letter to Kali Yavan, then we're seeing the Dhirodat Nayak, very vengeful, very deceitful, very proud, and so on. So here, Krishna said, "I had destroyed the universe by raising my eyebrow." He didn't actually destroy the universe, but by his mystic power, by his deceit, he could give someone that impression. So that's the deception. The quality of deception is there. He's boasting about himself. He's insulting the other person and threatening him like this. So this is an example of how Mathuresh Krishna is a Dhirodat. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad said, Rupa Goswami was afraid that the ocean of Ras might become dry by giving an example of Mathuresh. So he wanted to give an example of Krishna in Vrindavan. How is Krishna in Vrindavan a Dhirodat? When all the coward boys come together and they're wrestling in the forest, they make a circle, and Sridham is wrestling with another boy and defeats him. Then Sridham is flexing and saying, "Oh, who can fight with me? I can defeat anyone." So then Krishna pushes the boys out the way. "Stand back, stand back. The earth trembles beneath my feet. I scatter the rain clouds in the sky. Oh, timid dear Sridham, you are trembling, I can see. You should flee for your life at once, because now Krishna, the invincible, undefeatable, phenomenal war elephant is entering the arena." So when the boys are wrestling, they relish the wrestle. They don't just, they have to shout and show off and brag about their victories even before the fight, or to speak of after the fight. So in this way, Krishna is Dhirodata. Then the next type of hero is called the dear Lalit. Vidagdo navataruna parihasa visharada. Nischinto dear Lalitas satpraya prayasi vashaha. That means that hero is expert in all the arts. Who is a fresh youth, budding youth. Who is expert at laughing and joking, making others laugh. Who is nischinta, without a care in the world. And especially who comes under the control of the love of his beloved. So that is called the Dilalit hero. And the classic example is, just try to understand. None of the classical examples are Krishna. The classical examples are from literature and not. Right. So the classical example of Dhirodak is Ramachandra, of the Dhirashant is Yudhishthira Maharaj, of Dhirodhat is Bhimsen, and of Dilalit it is Cupid, Kamdev, the god of love, the husband of Rati, who's shooting his arrows and enjoying the amorous activities with the goddess Rati Devi. The embodiment is the embodiment of the Sringar Ras, the erotic sentiment of the physical world. So he's the example. But obviously, see, Krishna is the Brindabone Aprakrita Navinamadan Kama Bija Kam Gayatri Yara Upasan. See, Krishna is the ever fresh, transcendental Cupid of Vrindavan. So all the qualities of the Dilalit are there in Krishna. Vacha Suchita Savari Ratikala Pragalbaya Radikam Vrida Kunchana Lochanam Virachayan Agre Sakina Maso Tatpakshoro Chitta Keli Makari Pandit Chaparam Gata Kaishoram Safali Karoti Kalayam Kunjay Viharam Hari. One Brajagopi, she was walking in the forest near the border between Braj and Mathura, and there she met one wife of a Yajnik Brahmin from Mathura, and that Brahmin girl was asking, "Oh, can you tell me something about Krishna?" So she said, "Yes." Kaishoram Safali Karoti Kalayan Kunjay Viharam Hari. See, Krishna has made his adolescence successful, enjoying beautiful pastimes in the Nikunjas, in the solitary, secluded bowers of flowering trees and vines, in the forest of Vrindavan. What is he doing there? Oh, in the morning time, after enjoying beautiful pastimes with Radhika throughout the night, when her Sakis come to the Kunj, then see Krishna, then he starts describing Radhika's activities from the night to her friends, causing Radharani to close her eyes in shame and causing all her Sakis to laugh. So in this way, he's parihasa visharada, very expert at making others laugh. And when Radhika closed her eyes, then he took some sandalwood paste and kasturi and began to paint on her heart very beautiful pictures of Makari. That means one type of legendary mythical fish who is like a cross between a dolphin and a crocodile. And those makaras, they are famous because the sign of the makar is on the flag of Kamadev. So Krishna is painting this very quickly and artistically on the breast of Radhika. Everyone was astonished. So that indicates that he's Vidagda, expert in arts, and Satpraya Prayasi Vashaha, under the control of his beloved, because to decorate the heroine is actually the job of a maidservant. So if the hero will do it, it means he's become subordinate to her, and he's doing the service which is meant to be performed by her maidservant. Yeah. So in this way, Sri Krishna is Dilalit Nayak. So these are four types. Now, there are also four other types of heroes. They're called Anukul, Dakshina, Shat, and Drista. These four other types. So the first four types can each be of these four types, so it makes 16. And these 16 types of heroes, they may be in a married relationship, Patibhav, or in the Parakim of Upapatibhav. That means gopis are married to someone else, but Krishna becomes their beloved, Upapatibhav. So that's 16 times 2, makes 32. And Krishna is all of those 32 heroes in Mathura, in Dwarka, and in Braja. So 3 times 32 makes 96. So here you have the categorization, the taxonomy of how Sri Krishna is the embodiment of 96 different types of heroes. Huh? Is it clear? Okay. So now someone may say that in this world, a person who's dirashant, that means very peaceful, very self-controlled, very tolerant, cannot also be Dear Lalit, who's very laughing and joking and romantic. It's not possible. You can't be both. But because Sri Krishna, he has Nirankush Aishwarya. Nirankush. Ankush means that Ankush is a goad. It's used for controlling an elephant. So an elephant can be controlled with a goad. But Krishna is Nirankush. Nothing can control him. And his Aishwarya is Nirankush Aishwarya. His opulence is inconceivable and cannot be controlled in any way. So though it's impossible for a person to have contradictory characteristics, all the Viruddha Dharma, all the contradictory characteristics are present in Sri Krishna. But according to the necessity of the pastime, whatever is required to experience and taste the most rasa and cause others to relish the most rasa, Sri Krishna's personality manifests in that way. So out of the second 4 types of hero, they're called Anukul, Dakshina, Shat, and Drishta. This is very important. Anukul hero means that hero who is completely favorable to his heroine. He's thinking only about her and he never thinks about another woman. He is Anukul. So, the classical example of Anukul is again Lord Ramachandra. Why? Because Lord Ramachandra has made Ekapatni Vrat, a vow to have only one wife. So Lord Ram never thinks about any other person. He only thinks about Sita. But we have to say that by comparison, Sri Krishna is a more Anukul Nayak than Lord Ram. So how is that possible? How is that possible? You see, the reason is this. First of all, it's easy for Lord Ram to be the Anukul Nayak. Because first of all, he's Maryada Purushottam. He is the Lord who is setting the standard of ethics and morality. Maryada means the limitations of behavior. So he's Maryada Purushottam. So, and he's made a vow, I will have Ekapatni Brat, only one wife. So to follow his Maryada, he's doing that. And in addition to that, the other persons in his Leela, for example, when Lord Ram was in the forest of Dandakaranya, then the sages there, they saw Lord Ram and they wanted to be related to him as beloveds. And Lord Ram, just by his merciful glance, he said, in my next incarnation, you will become gopis. But in that incarnation, he could not reciprocate with them. Because he's Anukul Ekapatni Brata. When he went to Janakpur, then all the princesses in the palace of Janak Maharaj, when they saw Lord Ramachandra in the Swayamvara of Sita, they all were all thinking, I wish he were my husband. And he glanced at them in the next incarnation. And so the young princesses of Janakpuri Rajkumaris, they became gopis, and Krishna reciprocated with them in the next incarnation. And also, the Swarna Sitas, every year after Sita was sent to the forest, to the ashram of Valmiki Rishi, every year Lord Ram would make a golden vigra of Sita and install Sita there, because you cannot do yagyas without your wife present. So Vashishta Rishi had given this remedy, how he could still do yagyas though Sita was in the ashram of Valmiki Rishi. So one day he could hear some female voices calling, and he went to a room and he went inside, and all the Swarna Sitas were there. And they were all alive. And they were saying, oh, why have you left us here? You should always be with us and give your love to us. He said, next incarnation, those Swana-Sitas, they all became gopis also in the pastimes of Sri Krishna. So we see in this way that Lord Ram is the example of Anukul, but Krishna is more Anukul. Why? Kamsari api samsara Vasana bada srinkala Radham adaya ridhaye tatta japra jasundarim. See, Jayadev Goswami says that in the Rasalila, in the springtime Rasalila, Radharani was late. So Krishna came there and all the other gopis had arrived, and he started dancing in Rasalila with them. And when Radhika finally arrived, she approached from a distance, and Krishna looked and saw her. And then she looked at him and turned around and disappeared into the forest. Now what? You see, Krishna has made a promise. Yeya tamam prapadyante tataiva bhajami. I'll reciprocate with everyone. So if he did not have loving pastimes with all the gopis of Vrindavan, then he would be akritagya, he would be ungrateful. Because they love him, they're serving him, they're remembering him all the time. He cannot say no. So because Krishna's nature is to reciprocate with everyone, so he has many, many beloveds. So he cannot have ekapatni brat because of his nature, yeyatamam papadyante. And then the second thing is that each and every one of these gopis of Vrindavan has more prem. It's one of the 4 Maduris, Prema Maduri. Each and every gopi of Vrindavan has more prem than Sita Devi. Even. So despite the fact that he has not made ekapatni brata, despite the fact that he has to reciprocate with everyone, otherwise he would be ungrateful, and despite the fact that every single gopi in Vrindavan has more love than Sita Devi, but what happens? Tattajap prajasundarim. Sri Krishna got up and leaving them all, went through the forest searching after Srimati Radharani. Vale Vrindavan Bhai Lal ki Jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. So Krishna is more Anukul even than Ramachandra even. But he's not always Anukul. He's not always Anukul. Sometimes he's Dakshina. Then we're going on to the next hero. Dakshina. Dakshina means that hero who, though having love for one heroine, out of prem, out of fear, and out of respect, prem, garv, and bai, out of love, out of fear, and out of respect, cannot give up his attachment to a previous heroine with whom he had a relationship. Prem, because she loves him, so how can he not love her? By fear, because he's afraid that she may become upset. And garv, out of respect as well. He doesn't want to hurt her, out of respect. So because of this, even though he meets with one heroine, but he's in his heart, he's still thinking of another one. So Srila Rupa Goswami has given some nice example. One example in Dwarka. One day Sri Krishna was sitting in his palace in Dwarka, and one messenger girl came. The messenger girl came and she bowed down. Oh Dwarkadish, I have to inform you that the daughter of Kuntaleshwara, she has just completed her ceremonial bath. And also, the Rukmini is waiting for you. Oh, and another queen, she has defeated you in a dice match. Remember, she has defeated you in a dice match. And so, like this. So, she made this announcement to Krishna. When Krishna heard it, he became very thoughtful. Why? First of all, she's saying the daughter of the Kuntaleshwara has completed her ceremonial bath, means that after her menstruation, she's taken bath and now she's purified. And now Krishna, it's his duty as a husband, he has to go for the conception of a child. It's his duty. So he's needed there. On the other hand, he was playing dice with one queen, and the wager was, if I win this dice match, then you have to spend the night with me. So, and she defeated him in the dice match, so he had to go there. Rukmini is the senior most queen. right? So she has the priority in all circumstances, like this. So in this way, and he said also that, and the daughter of Angaraj also is waiting for you. So in this way, Krishna heard that there were 4 different queens, and they were all expecting to meet with him that evening. So then Krishna, became very thoughtful, because he was thinking up a plan. Now, the reason he's thinking up a plan is this, because these 4 queens are on different levels of praying. So he's thinking up a plan how to prioritize the one who has the most love, and then the one who has the next most love, and the one who has the next most love, and then the next most love. So this is the example of the Dakshina. It's actually Dira Anukul. It is the Dakshina. Yes, this is the example of the hero who is relating with one heroine, but also thinking about other heroines because of his softness, and he doesn't want to upset anyone. He's very gentle and polite. So then, Rupa Goswami has given an example in Vrindavan, that Krishna was walking on a path through the forest of Vrindavan, and from 4 different directions, different gopis were approaching. One gopi was fixing her hair, like this, and exposing her underarm. Yeah? Another gopi was fixing her belt. Another gopi was glancing at him. So these are all signs of the attraction. So this is a psychological thing. If a woman is attracted to a man, then she'll just start messing with her hair. She doesn't know it, but she does it anyway. So when Krishna saw 4, then Krishna was stunned. Why was he stunned? Because all these 4 gopis actually had the same level of praying. So it's not like the example in Dwarka. The example in Dwarka, Krishna just has to figure out how to do it. But because from 4 directions, 4 gopis with the same level of prema there, and he's Dakshina, now he's in a fix. So his mind just became stunned. So, the Anukul hero, Dakshina hero, then the next one is called Shat. The Shat hero, he is deceitful. He's very nice to your face, but behind your back, he may do things which are undesirable, and he may sometimes commit some offense. So the example is once, Sri Krishna was enjoying beautiful pastimes in the kunj of Shama, Sakhi. And afterwards Krishna was sleeping. And she was looking at Krishna's beauty as he was asleep on a bed of flowers in the beautiful kunj. And when Krishna was asleep, he was saying, "Oh, my beloved Bali." Because in his dream, he was dreaming about meeting with another gopi. And when Shama saw that, she felt very offended with him. So this is the example of Shat. He's directly very, very polite, but secretly he may do things which are undesirable and may sometimes commit some offense. So we see the example of Rupa Goswami in Utkalika Vallari. He says, "Shaton na veksha punari amanama nadanaya vishantam stri veshum subala suridam varaya gira idam te sakutam bachanam avadayuch chalitadi skalato par gopa pravaram avarotsami kimaham." Once Krishna had made some offense to Radharani. So Radharani is giving instructions to her maidservant Rupa Manjari. "O Rupa Manjari, Shatoyam na viksha puna." O Rupa Manjari, Krishna is a shark. He's a duplicitous person. So I don't want to see his black face in my kunj again. I have my dignity, I have my pride. So I want you to stand at the gate, at the courtyard to my kunj, and watch out for him. But be careful. Vishantam stri veshum subala suridam varayagira. Actually, Radharani didn't say the name of... She's so angry she cannot even say his name. She said, Subala Surid. That friend of Subal. That friend of Subal, he's a shark. He's a duplicitous, cheating person. I don't want to see him again. I have my dignity. But be careful. He knows that I have forbidden him to come here. So, Stri Vesham. Subal may get some clothing from his Krishna's cousin Kundalata and disguise Krishna as a gopi. And he will try to sneak into my courtyard dressed as a female. So watch out for him. And if you see him, if you see him and you catch him in his disguise, then he'll speak very sweet, honey-like words to you. So at that time he'll try to melt your heart. But make your heart very strong. Make your heart very steady and don't have any mercy for him. So then Rupa Manjari, receiving these orders from Radhika, she went and stood guarding on the gate to the Kunj. She was looking around, she saw some gopis were coming and going, and then she saw one gopi that she did not recognize, who had a very sham-colored complexion. And then she realized, aha! Radharani made a prediction, and now it's come true. So then Rupa Manjari called out, "Hey, Mohini Murti!" Because it is said that, Gargacharya said in the name-giving ceremony of Krishna in the Goshala of Nanda Maharaj, Tasman Nandatmajo Yamte Narayana Sumogunai. Your son will have all qualities like Lord Narayan. So one incarnation of Lord Narayan has a female form, that is Mohini Murti. And what does Mohini Murti do? She comes to cheat the asuras, the demons, from the nectar. So Rupa Manjari called, "Hey, Mohini Murti, what are you doing here? There's no use for your services here, because there are no asuras here. There are no demons here to cheat of the nectar. So why don't you just go home? Your mama's calling you. You should go home and meditate on your own duplicity." So in this way, Rupa Manjari, with so much abhiman, Radhikara dasi jadi hoy abhiman, shigra melaita gokula khan. How do you control Krishna? By having strong abhiman. I am dasi of Radhika. So she was protecting the dignity of Radharani and rebuking Sri Krishna. So this is the example of Shart. Then the third example, the fourth one is called Drisht. Drishta is very, very audacious, bold, and arrogant. Just like he has such a quality that even meeting with his beloved and even clearly having signs on his body that he has met with someone else, he denies everything and just tells lies to her face, and though it's so obvious. He's so audacious. This is called the Drisht Nag. So see, Krishna is sometimes like this. Jahi Madhava, Jahi Keshava, Mavadakai Tavavadam, Rajani Janita Guru Jagararaga, Kasaita Alasani Mesham, Bhavatu Nayana Manuragam Ivasputa, Uditarasa Binivesham. The whole night Radharani was waiting for Sri Krishna. And finally he shows up. He has red marks on his chest in lines. He has the kajal, the eyeliner from a gopi on his lips. He has a kumkum smeared on his chest. And he shows up. Radharani said, "Jahi Madhav, go Madhav, get out. Jahi Keshava, Ma Badakaita, I don't want to hear your lies. You think that the tinkling bells of your lies can drown out the sound of thunder of the truth? I can see with my eyes. What is this kajal on your lips? What are you saying, kajal? This is not kajal on my lips. This is kasturi. I saw some kasturi. I thought that kasturi probably has a very, very nice fragrance. And I sniffed it. And when I sniffed it, some touched my lip. And that's how the black came there. What is that kumkum on your chest? This is not kumkum. My cowherd boyfriends, they have decorated me with the red Gairika Dhatu from Giraj Govardhan. And because I was weeping tears of separation from you, the picture smudged and now it's looking like kumkum. What are these scratches on your body? Oh, In separation from you, I fainted and fell over in a rose bush. Krishna will just boldly tell lies like so. This is called the drista. So in this way, see, Krishna is the Vishaya Alamban. When we speak about the rasa, then rasa has samagri, ingredients. So the main ingredient of rasa is taibhav, your foundational relationship with Krishna. And then there is vibhav, that which stimulates love. So what stimulates love? The object of love, Vishaya Lamban, and also the abodes of love. Those who have a love similar to yours also stimulate your love. They Ashraya Lamban. So when Rupa Goswami is describing the samagri, the ingredients of rasa, and he's explaining what is this ingredient, Vishaya Alamban, then all the qualities of Krishna, the ages of Krishna, his babyhood, his childhood, his adolescence, his different types of flutes, and so on, his 64 qualities, his 96 heroic moods. This is all the delineation of that one ingredient of rasa, the Vishaya Lamban. Who is the Vishaya Lamban? Sri Krishna. Now, Sri Krishna must have all of these qualities in order to taste rasa. I give an example. In the Rasa Lila, when Sri Krishna disappeared from the rasa, all gopis were weeping. And finally Radharani said, Yatte sujata charnam buruham staneshu beta shanai priyadadi mahikakasheshu. Or when we hold your lotus feet on our breast, we place your lotus feet on our hearts very slowly because we fear that your soft lotus feet may be injured. So, and now I'm thinking you're walking around on these sharp stones in the forest. I cannot tolerate it. I will give up my life. Let the remainder of my life be added to yours. Let you live a long life in Vrindavan, but now I'm going. And when Radhika said this, Krishna couldn't hide anymore, and he appeared there amongst all the Braj Gopis. The Braj Gopis sat him down, and Krishna was apologizing. He said, Evam madhato jita loka veda swanami volmai anuvritaye bala maya paroksham bhajata tirohitam masuyata mahata tat priyam priya. It means, oh my dear Braja Gopis, Evam madadorchita loka veda swanam hivo mai. For my sake, you gave up all dharma, all religious principles. You gave up the path of the Vedas. You gave up your family members and everything only for me. And I hid from you. I was not going against you. I hid just to increase your love. But now I see that your love is increasing by itself. So it was my mistake. Maya paroksham bhajata tirohitam. Tirohitam means I disappeared. But Krishna is saying, when I disappeared, I was worshipping you indirectly. Maya, by me, aparoksham, indirectly, I was still worshipping you. So masuyata mahata tat prayam priya. Please, you should not have hostility towards me, because I am your beloved and you are my lovers. So don't take offense. Now the inner meaning here is a very profound inner meaning. First of all, maya paroksham bhajata tirohitam. Here, ma, the word ma is the name of Radharani. The word ma can mean me or it can mean not. But here Krishna is using Masuyatam Mahata Tat Priyam Priya. So the first ma here means, oh Radhika, he's directly addressing her. Oh Radhika, don't be upset with me. And other gopis should not be upset with me. Why? Because, first of all, Maya Paroksham. Here the word Paroksha means a secluded place, I disappeared with Radharani and I took her to a secluded place. Why? Because I have seen that when the manjaris, the maidservants of Radhika, are decorating her feet, when they're painting pictures on her body, combing her hair, decorating with flowers, then there's such a joyful experience. The manjaris feel joy and Radhika feels so much joy. And because I wanted to have that experience of being alone with her and serving and decorating her, so this is why I took her alone. So Maya Praksham Bhajata, I disappeared to be alone to serve Ma. Here, Ma means Rama, Radhika. So this is the first meaning. And it indicates Tatsuka Sukhi Bhav. It indicates Krishna's Tatsuka Sukhitva Dharma. That it's his nature that he finds happiness in Radhika's happiness. If he could just serve her, paint her the red lac on her lotus feet, decorate her hair with flowers and please her, then his happiness is her happiness. So this meaning of the verse indicates the Tatsuka Sukhi Bhav. The bhav of Krishna's happiness is Radhika's happiness. So Radhika's happiness is Krishna's happiness. This is one meaning. But then there's another meaning. The other meaning is Maya Paroksham Bhajata Tirohitam. Here means it's referring to I disappeared from Radhika, because Krishna later also abandoned Radharani alone in the forest. And he said, even though I abandoned you, Bhajata Tirohitam, I disappeared, but I was still serving you. How is that? I wanted to hear your Prem Alap. Prem Alap means that when a person is crying in separation and begin in the madness of love to speak, what will Radhika say? What will gopis say when I disappear? If I hide, I can listen and I can watch them and see. So Sri Krishna, he is Rasik Shekhar, and in order to relish the rasa of Braja Gopi separation, he has to do these cruel things like disappear. You see? So when Krishna said, I was serving you indirectly, Maya Paroksham Bhajatam Tirohitam, by disappearing, because at that time I was worshipping you by relishing your prema lap, your sweet lamentations in separation. How some Braj Gopis became so absorbed in Krishna, some of them began to imitate his pastimes. Some of them who were golden became sham colored and assumed Krishna's complexion. Radharani fainted, became unconscious. So some of them were talking to the trees, talking to the flowers, asking them, where did the son of Nandamaraj go? Please tell me. So Krishna was seeing this and relishing the prema rasa. So, but to be Rasik Shekhar, the relisher of the Vishai, of prema rasa, the relisher of Vishai rasa, he has to have these characteristics of sometimes becoming shat. So his disappearance here is Krishna's shatnaikatva. Krishna has a fault. What is that? Anyabilas dosh. You see, in pure bhakti, it is anyabilas tashunyam jnanakamattanavritam anukulyena Krishna anushilam bhakti uttama. The only desire is to please Sri Krishna. But Sri Krishna, he's thinking, I am Rasik Shekhar. I want to relish their prem in separation, so I am hiding. So Krishna said, you excuse me, I was worshipping you, I manifested my shatnaikatva, my duplicity, but it was because I wanted to relish your prem alap. So don't think I am against you, I was worshipping you, I am your beloved. Don't take offense and don't be hostile towards me. Krishna is begging. So he said, Na pariyam niravajya samyuja, I cannot repay your love. So here, understand this very profound point. The profound point is this, that Krishna cannot be Rasik Shekhar, relisher of all the rasa and all the moods of Braja Gopis, unless he has the Shatnaikatva, Drishnaitakta, he has these qualities of being duplicitous and so on. So, when Krishna is like this, then Radhika cries. And the Sakhi say to her, Oh Sakhi, you can see in the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Maharaj, Shikshastakam. In the last verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said what? Aslisya va padaratam pinashtumam adarshana mama hatam karotu va lampato mat prananatastu sa eva napara. He's speaking in the mood of Radhika. Krishna has been duplicitous and gone to some other gopi. And the Sakis are saying to Radhika, this Mahaprabhu's own explanation, the Sakis are saying to Radhika, oh, Krishna became udasin, he's becoming different to you, so why don't you forget him? But then Radhika says, oh, Krishna became indifferent to me because he's doing prem pariksha, he's testing my love. He's testing my love, how will I react? So I cannot become indifferent to him. The Sakis are telling Radharani, giving her the advice, oh, if he's indifferent to you, you should also forget about him. What it means is, oh Radhika, Krishna can never be indifferent to you. He's pretending to be indifferent. So he's being duplicitous. He's being short. He's pretending to... So you should be indifferent to him and he will not be able to tolerate it. He will quickly come running. See? This is the advice they're giving to her. But Radharani replied to her Sakis, Aslishiva padaratam pinastuma. Krishna can make me feel like the most fortunate woman in the whole universe by tightly embracing me and abandoning all the others and being alone with me. Otherwise, he can break my heart by never being present before me. Gyatatata vavidadata lampato. He's a lampat. Lampat means a drist and shart, all these different types of deceitful heroes. He's a lampat. He's very greedy. He's especially rasa lampat. He's greedy to relish rasa. So let him be a lampat. Mat prananatastu sa eva napara. But still, he is the Lord of my heart. So when Mahaprabhu was explaining this verse in the mood of Radharani, so he's speaking Radharani's words. Tabu teho lampata shata drista sukapata anya nari gana korisata anya nari gana korisata more dite manapira mora age kare krida tabute ho mora pranonata tabute ho mora pranonata. Radhika said, Krishna is the lampat. He's greedy for rasa. And because of this, he's a shat and drista. Because he's shat and drista, that is why he goes and he is enjoying pastimes with other gopis. In this way, he gives a pain to my heart. And even sometimes he's dancing with them in front of me. But still, Tabutehe Mora Prananath, he is my Pranvalabh, he is the Lord of my life. So unless love is tested like this, then how can it be manifest and how can Krishna taste it? Unless he'll test it. Because he's Rasik Shekhar. Understand? And he's relishing Sambhog, meeting and Vipralamba and separation both. So when Mahaprabhu spoke these words, there and then, in the Gambhira to Lalita and Vishakha in the form of Swarup Damodar and Roy Ramananda, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly manifested the Swarup of Radharani. And thereby, in this last verse of Shikshastakam, we see that Sri Krishna fulfilled his three desires. To realize the depth of Radhika's love, the sweetness of Sri Krishna that only she tastes by her love, and the happiness she feels, which comes from tasting the sweetness of Krishna by the power of her love. So I'll just see who is Krishna and who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Sri Krishna is Rasik Shekhar, in order to taste the rasa, he has to be shat and drishta, duplicitous and sometimes kind of ungrateful. The way he behaves. He has to do that to taste the rasa and to test the prem and relish that prem. But being in that state, he himself cannot relish fully prem. Because prem has no anyabilash dosh. But the Shatanayak has to have the anyabilash dosh. Otherwise he cannot be Shatanayak. And he cannot be Rasik Shekhar. So when a mango is not ripe, it has a dark complexion, it's green. But when a mango becomes ripe, then it becomes golden. So in the same way, Krishna has a dark complexion, he's Shama Sundar. He's fully Rasik Shekhar, the relisher of Vishai Jatiya Rasa. But he cannot fully taste Prem. Because the qualifications that he needs to taste the Prem of Radhika are the disqualifications for experiencing the Prem. Because he has to be shocked. He has to have the Anyabilash dosh in order to be the Vishai of the Prema Rasa. But then he cannot taste Prem to its fullest degree. So that very Krishna, when the bitterness of the unripeness of his Anyabilash dosh and his Shatnaikatva and Drisnaikatva have been removed, then Sham Sundar becomes Gaur Sundar, golden Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And speaking this verse, Aslishyava Padaratam Pinashtumam, in the Gambhira, Krishna became Radha Swarup. And this is Gaura Lila. Now he's, in Krishna Lila he's only half Rasik Shekhar because he's relishing the Vishai Jati Rasa. And then in Gaura Lila he becomes a full Rasik Shekhar because he relishes the Ashray Jati Rasa. Gaur Premanande! Now understand why Rupa Goswami is explaining the Vishai Alamban, this ingredient of rasa. Because if you don't understand this, you cannot understand anything about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna and Braj Gopis. And one can have not any clue, really, about the identity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why all this katha about Vishai Jati Rasa is right there in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. But it's then those seed verses in the beginning of Charitamrita are unpacked as the whole of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the conclusion comes in Antilila chapter 20 in the last verse of Shikshastakam. So we try to give a glimpse of the subject. Actually, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said this point that I want to make about Krishna being the Lampat. He said, it is so vast, it is like an ocean. I cannot fully explain. But I'll just, in a few words, Radharani's own words, point in that direction. Bale Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai, Saniwali ki Jai, Jai Jai Sri Radhe. So we'll just complete with a kirtan, and then we'll be serving Mahaprasad. Oh, we have a birthday. Okay, kirtan first. Then. There's a birthday today too. But we'll celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.